I am a guy that likes the bad news first. Are you?
Oh, interesting.
Are you? When it's I got good news and bad news. They always say I've got good news and bad news, and then what do you want first? I'm always wanting the bad news first.
Yeah, get it out of the way. Band-Aid, rip it right
and
off.
make me feel good at the end.
Let's end this on the positive
right?
note.
Am I right?
I like happy endings.
Okay. So, well, I mean, in terms of stories.
And stories.
But here's the deal.
Watch out.
Since I'll shoot the Philadelphia Eagles fans with the bad news first. Here's the bad news. It's not looking good at all.
No.
I mean, the bad news is it looks like the Eagles are a flawed team that won games in lucky style, not plucky style. The 10 wins that they're still sitting on right now with a 3-game losing streak, their first 3-game losing streak in since 2021. So it's been a while since we've seen this from them. And they look like they were playing with a bug on Monday night. Like Jalen Hurts comes in, he flies in on a private plane, stay away from his teammates so he doesn't get anybody else sick. But sure, let's just shove him in the middle of a 22-man scrum later on multiple times. That's for another day. That's one way to win the battle is just breathe on people when you're in the brotherly shove. But he comes out looking terrific, actually. The Eagles scored on their opening drive, and he was the first play was him running, and it's just like, okay,
15-yard,
little rope-a-dope. He's supposed to be sick, and he's a nice sick play, if you will, to start, and then you see the Eagles, the Seahawks end zone paint on his right shoulder the rest of the game because he slid into the end zone to start the scoring. Touchdown, Eagles go on top, and then the defense now that is coordinated by Matt Patricia now looked a little bit more in tune. But just when you thought they should start to separate, they don't. And then you start to think, wait a minute. They made a coordinator change in week 15. You know, we had Nick Sirianni on this program. He said nothing. And nobody knew anything. And Sean Desai, the DC, he's still the defensive coordinator. He didn't say a word. He was meeting with the crew. Joe and Troy said he met with us and didn't say anything. Total pro about it. But they made a defensive coordinator change in week 15. What does that tell you? That they feel like they've got the guys in the room. It's just a different set of eyes and a different scheme. But then there are just moments where they just don't seem to find that gear like the Bills did in week 15. Don't seem to find the gear like the Niners can find it right now. They don't seem to have that gear like the Ravens seem to have. And that's a problem when you're trying to defend your conference championship because they don't make the right plays. And weird stuff happens in Seattle to begin with. And could you imagine? Okay, like your quarterback doesn't fly with you. You're wondering if he's healthy enough to play. And playing at night in Seattle, you feel like you're on a different planet. Weird stuff happens there. And now for your defense, you're hearing a different voice in the helmet. And it's a different voice all week. And so you're doing things differently on the fly in a Monday night game in Seattle. And Drew Lock starts to drive 98 yards on you to end the game and make plays to win the game. And Seattle comes up with the sticks around and sticks around and sticks around and then hits you with their longest drive of the season with their backup quarterback who didn't know he was starting until the very beginning of the game for him. And they were able to overcome things in a way that the Eagles succumbed. And that's a problem. At least the Niners got their 3-game losing streak out of the way in the middle of the season before their bye. This is December. This is December. And you're throwing it up, into double coverage. And you're not even throwing it to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. You're throwing it to your third-string wide receiver picked off.
Quez Watkins.
And then you give up the touchdown and you still have timeouts left and you're at midfield with 20-some-odd seconds to go with 2 timeouts to go, and you can definitely set up your field goal kicker who has shown he can boot it from 60 yards before, and you decide to go up top. Picked off again, although I must say I don't think Love got his second foot down. And I think it was obvious that his foot never hit the ground.
Yeah, his momentum just kind of carried.
I don't know how the hell that got through replay, as Stans is called. But
I thought his toe did get
it. Initially, I did, but then you could see a replay where it looked like it looked like it hit. But it's still an incredible play that you shouldn't be. I know you want to throw it to A.J. Brown, but be smart about it. You got 2 timeouts to go. But weird stuff happens, like Jason Kelce finally getting called for what he said he's been warned about for a long time, which is moving the football up before snapping it for a brotherly shove play that they get called 5 yards on for a penalty and then run it on 3rd down. It's just weird. They just make weird choices, weird plays, and then your quarterback says this after the game. This is wild. Jalen Hurts, post-game, stepping to the podium and saying something that leads you to believe the guys aren't in the room after all.
I've been talking about execution all year. Been on the same page. Everyone been on the same page, and we didn't execute. I don't think we're committed enough. Just got to turn it around. It's a challenge that we have to embrace. Just continue to see it through.
What do you mean by that, about being committed enough?
Commitment. I don't know that I had a dictionary on me now. I don't know how else to say that. We got to pick ourselves out of this. I ain't really too fond of the, you practice the same habits, you're getting the same results, and we have to make a internal change in how we attack things, how we come to work every day. It starts with the little things, how committed we are to doing what we're doing. And it all starts with me, the quarterback.
Wow. Man, note to members of the press, always have a dictionary or thesaurus handy. Okay, you're committed. Because what that is infused with is that means people are not giving it their all or can't buy in because there's something happening. Does Nick Sirianni need to make another coordinator change at this late juncture in December? Ooh. Is that what he's referring to? Is he referring to people not practicing that hard? I can't imagine he's referring to his offensive line. Is he referring to some of his skilled position players? With all due respect, the offensive line looks pretty skilled. You know what I'm saying? Somebody, like, who is he referring to? He does throw himself there at the end because he's always that guy, looking in the mirror type guy. But what does he mean by that? And is there like a no way out, like mole hunt on for who's that person that's not coming to practice committed? Who's showing up in the game not committed? Who's not committed? What's he referring to? Because there's always been something up with Philadelphia all year long. Mm-hmm. And nobody's putting their finger on it, and you're always wondering, is it something going on behind the scenes? And when he says that, it kind of lends credence to that theory, narrative, whatever you want to call it. And then to make matters even worse, here's the last part of the bad news, Philly fans. Jerry Jones is happy. Now that's got to make you really upset, because Dallas is currently back in first place right now because of the Seattle loss.
What did you think of that Seattle ending last night on Monday Night Football?
It was marvelous. I watched every bit of it. I thought I was about to doze, and then when they made those 2 exciting plays at the end, I couldn't sleep till 4 this morning. because of the impact that it can have on our year and our season.
I mean, the Eagles turned Jerry Jones into Fernando Lamas Sr. Marvelous, just marvelous. Little Billy Crystal. Marvelous. There you go. Very good.
I was about to
It's
doze.
marvelous.
You look
Marvelous.
marvelous.
When was the last time somebody said doze?
Doze.
I was about to doze.
I mean, he woke up Jerry Jones.
Hey,
He couldn't go to sleep.
I couldn't sleep at all last night.
Now, the good news.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. We have so much bad.
Here's the good news. There's still 3 games left.
Hey.
The good news is it's not just 3 games left. It is the easiest 3-game schedule for anybody in the NFL the rest of the way. Believe it or not. That's what I'm seeing.
No easy games in the NFL, Rich.
I got it. 2 games against the Giants.
Well,
All right,
only two right there.
Tommy Cutlets is involved in some local pizzeria imbroglio about.
Have you seen this story?
about jacking up his fee on the locals, and word is
man.
he's not happy with the way that he's constantly being asked about, doing social media videos for the team and.
He signed an
doing the
autograph to my
Sopranos and
hometown
whatever.
today, Rich.
What, dude? I don't want to. All I'm just saying is,
Tommy just wants to play ball, guys.
the headline of the Daily News saying, take the Cutlets to go.
Can't leave
And
it out.
then Arizona comes into their house, and I know Arizona beat Dallas and what have you, but
they're gonna beat the
you
Eagles,
all
too.
start getting backed up this time of year when you're out of it. And I know you're playing for pride for these teams and whatever, but the Eagles, 3 more wins. They can go 3 wins after these 3 losses, and if they win out, and if Dallas wins out, I have checked with NFL research. Philadelphia wins the NFC East. They still, if you will, control their own destiny.
Whack.
Even with all of that, even with Jerry Jones feeling marvelous and no dozing now because the Seahawks came back on the Eagles.
It's marvelous.
They've got control of everything. And maybe, just maybe, there are the guys in the room will look in the mirror and basically say, we've got this. They can be 13-4 at the end of the season, which, by the way, I think they would have signed for before the season. Hey, you win the division, you're 13-4. The 1 seed, I think that bird has flown, to use the phrase. That thing is done. You're going to have to pull it together, win 3 in a row, win 2 games, and then go to San Francisco and get back to the Super Bowl. At least they now have, I believe, complete clarity on what their path is and what is the task and challenge ahead of them. That's the good news. The good news is you still control your own destiny. You've got 2 home games against 2 teams you should beat, although one of them is a division opponent, and you never know. The other one went to the western side of the state and put the Steelers on the griddle by going in and winning there. So you never know, but you should win them, and you still have the opportunity to win them, and figure it out. Whatever is happening there, it's Nick Sirianni's gig to figure it out. That's the good news. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.